You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 4th day of December, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is actually our second live broadcast of the day. First live broadcast is private. That's for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the top of the page, there's a link, 5-day free trial. Doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up. First thing we'll do is we'll get your indicators turned on, make sure your desktop's working, and then the following trading day is when your trial will actually begin. So you'll get 5 days even if it ends up stretching over a weekend. So don't hesitate or put it off. If you're ready, you can go ahead and sign up today. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this afternoon broadcast at 12 noon Eastern, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, just go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. You only have to do that once. Going forward, what will happen every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, the benefit of that is you'll have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you'd still like to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you want to check it out later. You can do both of those things via our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. For those who are new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are, not just today, not just this week. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3, even more. Now, of course, we don't expect you to watch all of those, but pick some days at random, okay? And just listen in while the recap's being done. You'll quickly see the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and through our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. So let's open with our daily devotional and prayer as we do every day. Now, we spent the last week and a half talking about God wants you free. We wrapped that up Friday. And so for the next 12 days, we're going to talk about the Apostles' Creed. Our scripture today is Hebrews chapter 11, verses 1 through 2, and I'm sharing from the Message translation. The fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we can't see. The act of faith is what distinguished our ancestors, set them above the crowd. Again, that was Hebrews 11, verses 1 and 2. Complete this statement. I believe in fill in the blank. Excuse me. The beauty and tension of the verses come from the fact that based on what has happened in the past, Christians have assurance and conviction in placing their hope and belief in something they've never seen. Though we believe in the existence of God since before time began and in his work that began human history with the creation of the world, a man named Abram was the first in a long tradition of people who put their belief in God. Yet it's easy for our culture of individuality and innovation to shape the way we think about the church. So what should we believe? With so many questions, opinions, and interpretations among people today, even within the church, what should we all agree on as essential to the Christian faith? The Apostles' Creed begins with these words: I believe in. The creed is an affirmation Christian story. It's both good and true. God the Father is reconciling the world to himself in the person and work of Jesus Christ, and through the power of the Holy Spirit. The creed is more than just an individual statement. It's both personal and corporate. As you reflect on the creed, you're surrounded by a large cloud of witnesses who have gone before you, Hebrews 12:1. And you identify with the universal church. That doesn't mean the building down on the corner with the steeple. The body of believers, you and I, we are the church. While the creed is not equal with Scripture, truths contained in us support the church's unified belief in the one true King who is eternal, immortal, invisible, the only God, who is due honor and glory forevermore. 1 Timothy 1:17. It supports the faith that was delivered to the saints once and for all. Read about that in Jude 3. In the early church, uttering the word, I believe, or words, meant identifying in the closest possible way with the gospel. When believers said the creed, they were identifying themselves as citizens of a different kingdom, the kingdom of God. This meant, and still means today, that believers could face persecution, alienation, and even death. The creed is far more than a list of propositions. It's the summary of the faith that has been practiced throughout church history. Finding its genesis in the Apostles' teachings, the Apostles' Creed contains essential Christian doctrines and beliefs that summarize the gospel and make up the foundation of our faith. The scriptural truths contained in the creed help us operate from good theology, the knowledge that our faith is rooted in truth and a rich history that spans past, present, and future. The lines of the creed aren't mere words. They convey the essence of what we confess and believe as the body of Christ. Again, we're going to be on this topic for 12 days. So be sure and tune in tomorrow as we start to get into the creed itself. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you in prayer, our hearts are drawn to the profound faith described in Hebrews 11. Lord, we yearn for a faith that is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Thank you for the gift of faith that allows us to trust in your promises, even when circumstances may seem uncertain. In moments of doubt, strengthen our faith, that we may hold firmly to the hope we have in Jesus. We recognize that faith is the assurance that what we hope for will come to pass, even though we may not see it with our eyes. Help us to anchor our lives in this unwavering confidence in your goodness, sovereignty, and faithfulness. Lord, may our faith not be limited to the tangible and visible, but extend into the realm of the unseen, where you are at work in ways beyond our understanding. Increase our faith, that we may walk in obedience and experience fullness of your promises. Times of uncertainty, may the substance of our faith provide a firm foundation as we trust in you. May our lives be a testament to the reality of the unseen, and may our faith bring glory to your name. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Monday. Okay. Now, as you know, Michael will join us at about 45 minutes into the broadcast. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And then we'll go live on the TradingView platform, do some live trading for a half hour, as we do every day in the live training room for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, we're going to start here in the U.S. cash markets, indices as they're called. And after such an incredibly sleepy sideways week last night, oh my goodness, there was some news that came out shortly ahead of the market open that a U.S. Destroyer and some U.S. commercial ships been attacked by some Iran proxies. So I caution everybody, just be careful at the open, because we didn't know what would happen. We don't have crystal balls. Man, gold took off like a rocket ship. Fortunately, in fact, I don't know if I've ever seen a one-day move that big in gold. But it only lasted, I don't know, an hour or two. And the last time I looked, we were back below where we were when the market opened last week. In fact, back below where we closed a week out last week. But we'll look at that when we go to the charts. The Dow right now, we refresh. Dow's down 115 points. NASDAQ's down 148, which is a little over 1%. S&P 500 is down 30. But the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is up 11 and a quarter points. So we'll see how that all shakes out by the end of the session. Now, because we primarily trade futures, although our strategy works across any market, any time frame, when it comes to the futures, we like to see the four major indices, the Dow, the NQ, the S&P, and the Russell, all the same color. Red or green matters not, because with futures you can trade in either direction at the drop of a hat. No penalties, no rules. It's a piece of cake. Just one of the reasons why we like futures, and the fact that they trade around the clock. And I could go on, but I won't. All right, in the commodity basket, crude oil is down 38 cents, trading 73.71 the last. Gold. Gold's down 42 bucks. For those of you who were watching what happened last night, if I had told you as that thing was racing up the chart that by the time we did today's broadcast, gold would be down $42, you'd have said I was crazy. That's 2%. Well, I hate to say it, but it is. Silver's down 91 cents, trading 24.94 last. That's a drop of over 3.5%. Just shy of $5,000 per contract traded. Wow. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down 200 points, Shanghai down 8, Hang Seng down 184, which is just over 1%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 16, the DAX up 7, the CAC down 13. Still pretty quiet and sideways in Europe. It's been like that for over a month, I guess. So, we had a red day in Asia. We had a mixed day in the UK. Nothing deep in the red, and the DAX in the green, by 7 points. It is what it is. And as mentioned, it is a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. Got 3 of the major indices in the red. The Russell is in the green by 11 points. Now, I'm going to mention this real quick before we move on, before I forget, because I seem to forget a lot these days. I've been watching this, what do they call it? A mini-series? It's not a mini-series. They got a different term for it. Anyway, it was done by HBO, so you may have already seen it. It's on Netflix now. It's called Band of Brothers. It's about a group, platoon or whatever, in World War II. And one of the stars is the guy who was one of the stars in Homecoming until he disappeared in the second season. We didn't know why, but then we found out he went to do the series called Billions. The redheaded guy. Forget his name, but anyway, for those of you that enjoy a good war story, okay, write it down. Band of Brothers. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Prime Video or not, but it only has 10 episodes, and I am looking forward to finishing episode 10 sometime today. So, just throwing that out there for you. It's pretty good. All right. So, that brings us to Logic 247. That is our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. But it's not just the E-minis, it's also crude and gold and silver, euro, bonds. We're in week 279. Over the last 279 weeks, we've issued over 15,500 individual handcrafted alerts. Now, this recap was valid as of 6:45 a.m. this morning. Valerie will update it this afternoon. Now, this has changed quite a bit. At the time she did the recap, since the market opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6:45 a.m. Eastern this morning, we issued 7 alerts. We were still waiting on 3, which I think have all resolved themselves positively. That gave us 4 actionable alerts, of which 1 was stopped out, or 25%. Now, over the last 279 weeks, what we've averaged, based on market structure and a very simple process that I teach all of our lifetime members in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions, we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out on a weekly basis. I think last week we ended up with about 50 alerts and 15% stopped out. So, these alerts are based on current price action. They can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Now, when I say current price action, there's time built in to every alert. For you to get the alert, go to your 30-minute chart. See the window of opportunity that the alert represents. This is a training tool. It's designed to help you learn how to spot the windows of opportunity yourself. Because our goal for you is to become self-sufficient. If your plan is to trade for a living, it's never going to happen as long as you have to depend on somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. And we're going to do that in the beginning to help you, to teach you, to train you. But if you show up, ask the questions, do the work, you'll reach the point where you'll spot the window of opportunity before I even post it. You'll see windows of opportunity that I didn't see because I wasn't at my desk, okay? Or just was busy doing something else and didn't get it posted as an alert. So if you use the alerts as they were created to be used, not just to, trade and make money and not have to bother learning how to trade. You don't want to do that, okay? In the beginning, it's a great way to find your way to profitability, okay? Don't get hooked on them. Use them as they're intended, to learn how to read the chart. On the logic alerts, you'll notice that they have multiple targets. Why? Because I look left for you to spot potential obstacles. So if it's a long trade, you might have an initial target, which is, of course, designed to get your goal for the day, and a second target, a third target. And if it's a long, the final trade to target will be the weekly zone above. If it's a short, the initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and there may be a second, a third, a fourth target, even more sometimes, until you get to the weekly trading zone below. That's the final trade to target for that alert. Okay. And the more you do it, the more clear it will become. You'll start to ask yourself, man, how come I never noticed this before? Because nobody ever told you to even look for it. Try it. You'll like it. Now, along with the logic alerts, our original alert service, which is many years old, the concierge trade alerts, they're a little bit different. They don't come out around the clock. They're posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. So last night, 10 minutes into the open, all of our members and trial members had all these targets. Now, because this broadcast is open to the public, if you're not a member or trial member, you can grab a screenshot, or if you're watching after the fact, you can hit pause on the video on the YouTube channel and just jot down the numbers that are important to you because they represent the markets that you actually trade or are learning how to trade. We use our ES as an example. What's the first thing you do when this report gets posted? Go to the 30-minute chart and make note of where price is at the time the report is published. It'll always be between these two numbers. From there, if price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. That part's pretty simple. Now, on the logic alerts, I have looked left for you. With the CTAs, you get to look left yourself. It's part of the learning process. And over time, you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. We've published the zones for our members since December 14th, 2009, which is a pretty long time. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now, when we go to the charts here in a minute, the zones you see are last week's zones, because every alert issued last night was based on last week's zones. But all the alerts I put out today after 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they're based on this week's zones. So tomorrow on this broadcast, on my charts, you'll see the current weekly zones. Okay. Now keep in mind, price is always trying to reach a weekly zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon. Price is above the 30-minute BBC, just trying to get to that zone overhead. It's below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. At this point, you just have to resist the urge to make it more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Okay? All right. Let's move right along. Go to the daily chart. Why do we go to the daily chart? Great question. Institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of their account size and the size of the trades that they place, they're the ones who actually move price. So no matter what market you trade, if you'll just spend, or stock, or crypto, or Forex, or ETF, if you'll just spend 2 minutes looking at the daily chart, you'll see what the institutions are up to. Friday, they were buying, huh? But not so much today. Now we're well off the low. And I posted this morning, this is before price broke below the step line. It's in the discussion group in Telegram. You can check it out. See what it looked like at that time. We know we have resistance overhead with red and falling, or red and sideways. Actually, after Friday, I think it went back to blue. Nonetheless, that's resistance, because on the way up, it's your friend, but once it gets directly above price, it becomes resistance, just like this. And then the step line becomes support. Once the step line crosses blue and climbing, that's an indication that price is going to attempt to pull back to the BBC. Now, this has been dragging out for a couple weeks. So what we may see is the BBC rise to meet price. It's not the same as price dropping to the BBC or rallying up to the BBC. Pull back to the BBC, whether you're pulling from above or below, pulls more often than it doesn't. Now, the institutions look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. So there was a lack of buying until we got down to this area that we defined early last week as our support level, because it represented the low of November 28th. The low of November 28th was 45.47. Today, we only made it down to 45.53. Buyers came in and bid it up. Now we're at that step line. See, on the way down, the step line was support. If you go look at that chart that I'm talking about in the discussion group, you'll see price was resting right on top of the step line. So it's support on the way down. It got through it. Now on the way back up, it becomes resistance. But if we get above it, again, it becomes support. So while we had a wild flurry of activity since the session started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, price is currently here. Up here is where we closed on Friday. Okay. So if you were to ask yourself, which way are the markets weighted at the moment? Looks like they're weighted to the downside. But I would have to also say, look at how many days we've not been able to break this little line that I drew in. Okay. So if we just keep consolidating sideways, this is going to slowly rise, rise, rise. Now, when price pulls back to the BBC or up to the BBC, the pullback holds more often than not. However, when price gets stagnant and the BBC rises to meet price, there's less chance of you getting a bounce and more of a chance that price will drop through it, if that's the way it plays out. If price were to just drop right now like a rock and hit the BBC and the 24% fib, They're both together right here. This line across here is a 24. Probably get a nice bounce. But if we just go sideways and this rises up to meet price, then we're probably going to drop through it. It's just based on history. And for anybody that's new, BBC stands for Bull Bear Cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish. We anticipate higher prices. Once price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. BBC, Bull Bear Cross. Price either crosses above the green line or crosses below. And once it's crossed above and pulls back to the BBC, pullback holds more often than it doesn't. And like here, we know eventually price is going to trade through it. So it did. Then it pulled back to it and it held. It gave us another leg to the downside, another retracement, another leg, another retracement, another leg. That's how it works, whether you're on the daily chart or the 30-minute chart. Now, the 30-minute chart, okay, this is where all alerts are created. Both the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts. And again, these are last week's zones because the alerts issued Sunday night are based on last week's zones. All the alerts issued today are based on this week's zones. And on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones, which came out this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern for all of our members and trial members. Now, look what's happening. Price has pulled up to the BBC. Now, it already pulled up once, pullback held. Had this huge drop. Now we've pulled up again. Notice the step line way down here crossed red and falling. Instinctively, we know that price is going to try to pull back to the BBC. Now that it has, we have to be patient and see if the pullback's going to hold or if it's going to overcome it. Now, the vertical line that you see here, that separates today, Monday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, from Friday. If you go back, there's Thursday and Wednesday and Tuesday, etc. Okay. All right. So here's where we opened last night. Price was trapped between resistance, red and falling, and support at the BBC. So when price hit the BBC, we caught a little bounce, got above red and falling, and we traded up to 45.96.75. Then we turned right around and got back below the BBC, joining red and falling. Low and climbing, red and falling will often lead the way and come all the way down to last week's zone. We spike it, pull back to the BBC, pull back holds, go back to the zone, consolidate for a few hours, and then we drop. The short target was 45.81. The low was 45.81.50. And remember, all of our traders had these targets 10 minutes into the open, 10 minutes into this candle right here last night. We never had any reason to look at the long target, even though price got above the BBC here for a second, because before you can trade to the long target, you need to overcome this obstacle, this obstacle, this obstacle, and this obstacle. This is the window of opportunity up here that would take you to the long target. as this was the window of opportunity right here. Took you to the short target. So dropping below, say you entered it on the open of this candle, 45.85. You dropped to 81.50. So it's at 3.5 points. Then you pulled back up to resistance, dropped again, and this time you just powered through the zone to the next zone. The market found support, bounced back up to red and falling, resistance, and then took us all the way down to this zone. Now, remember, this zone that you're looking at, that was published last Monday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow you'll be looking at the zones that were published for our members this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This is what I call the carryover effect. Okay. Sunday night and Monday, last week's zones are typically pretty good. Question we have now, is price going to be able to break above the 30-minute BVC? If so, then we've got room to trade up here. And of course, you would want to be using the new zones to set your targets. On the Dow. Now, last week, we closed the week above the highest weekly trading zone. Okay. So we opened last night, again, trapped like the ES, red and falling resistance, BVC support, get a little drop, pullback, the pullback holds, down we go. We only need 20 points. This candle opened at 259 and dropped to 204. So that was over 40 points in the one candle. And then we wander sideways, and then we drop right to the short target. Okay. Now, why, price is falling real nice. Why did it stop right there? Just look left. See that? Today's support was defined on Friday. Now price pulled back to the BBC, and it spiked it, but it held. Then we go back down to the short target again. Now we're back at the BBC. So again, it'll be important. There's, 14 minutes left in the life of this candle. Remember, this was green all the way up to here. But by the time the 30-minute candle closed, it was back to here and headed south. So what do you do right now? Be patient. You've got to know if you assume this was going to hold, well, you're in for a surprise. Patience is so important. Let the 30-minute candle close. Let the next 30-minute candle open. Look left to spot what obstacles. Okay. Let's say we do close above 30-minute BBC. So where's our first obstacle? Right there. And there. Top of this candle. Which is, so what was the high? 36. Oh, come on. Heck, you got charts. You can figure it out. Okay. Here's where we open, drop to the BBC, pull back held, and we ran right to the long target. Then we dropped to the zone, which held, sent us back to the target, pull back to the BBC, the pullback held. And as we mentioned, the Russell is the only one of the 4 major indices in the green. Okay, Michael's here to give us a recap of the live training room this morning. Then we'll go live for 30 minutes on the TradingView platform. And when he's done, I will be back and we'll finish the recap and close out with our good word for today.
Excellent. Here we go. Sorry.
Looks good.
Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 4th day of December, 2023. Good Lord, it's December of 2023. Okay, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to, go to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here. Once you click on that, you'll be sent to this registration page. Yes, you'll be sent to this registration page where all the way ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number, a bunch of drop-down boxes. If you have TradingView, you should give us your TradingView username or login ID. And if you have NinjaTrader, give us the machine ID so we can get you registered for your indicators right away. Okay? Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. The NQ today, as I said, is the 4th day of December 2023, and on the NQ today, we made 77 ticks on the NQ, 0 ticks on the Russell, 5 ticks on crude, and we lost 2 ticks on the ES this morning. That put us at plus 410 on the morning session. Today it took 27 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're $1,380. And we took a total of 19 trades this morning. So on the month now, we are at $512.50. That's over 2 trading days, averaging $256 per contract per morning session. So it's a slow start to the month, but it's okay. By the end of the month, it'll be much better. You'll see. On the year now, we're at $100,607. Over 229 business days, averaging $439 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would only have 80.5 hours and you would have averaged $2,516 per hour. Okay, that once we get into this next year, this time, that number is going to be huge, I bet. Once we're at 20 plus contracts, the slippage is going to be unbelievable. But anyway, $2,516 per hour is where we are. All right, now let's get into what we did. So on the NQ, why do I have, I'm calling it the NQ, on the crude oil, sorry, I had changed things around because I was just in a meeting a minute ago. Here we go. Oil. Let's see, we had just 1 trade today. There were a lot of trades that set up, but I only took 1 of them. This one right here, and I got 5 ticks in profit on that 1 trade. It started out really sideways in crude. Right in here, it was really choppy and sideways, and it didn't do anything until it did. And then once it did, it started to move pretty quickly. I wasn't watching it that closely, apparently, because I didn't get any of this. Any of that move up, any of that move down. And then it got sideways here. There was 1 nice blue arrow trade right here. And 1 more blue arrow trade over here that would have been break even. And that was it on the right. We with plus 5 on crude with our 1 trade. The Russell, we were back and forth today. Let's get all the way back here. All right. I believe, still going back, here it is. Our first trade of the day on the Russell was right in here somewhere. We had 2 ticks in profit, somewhere in here. Right, the first trade of the day was on the Russell and we had 2 ticks in profit. I can't find it. We've got 2 ticks in profit on the first trade, and then the next trade we stopped out on. But we had a big stop out on that. It actually slipped me on the stop out 2 ticks. So I ended up with minus 12 ticks on that stop out. And then I got a big trade on this one. I got 20 ticks. No, I got 20 ticks. 20 ticks is holding plus 10. I went from minus 10. I had a 12 tick stop out, but I was at plus 2. So I had a 12 tick stop out. I was at minus 10 there. Then I got a 20 tick trade right there that put me at plus 10. And then I had a stop out right there that put me back to even. And that's pretty much where we stayed with the Russell. We had a couple more trades in here, but we didn't get any profit on them. And then we got into the training. We had some nice blue arrows, one nice one there, one that wouldn't have worked out right there. I took a break even on that one. And that was it for the blue arrows. We didn't have a ton of blue arrows. Most of them worked out. But we ended up with a break even on the Russell today. And after being up pretty good on it the last couple of days before, we ended up with a break even. Just looking. Yeah, I guess Thursday we're plus 18. Today we're 32. And today, break even. Anyway, the ES now. We didn't have much going on with the ES either. We were up and down again with the ES. This was our first trade. We had plus 8 on that one. And this was our second trade, and we stopped out. So we ended up with minus 2 between the two trades there on the ES. And you can see the whole day right here on the ES. Not a whole lot going on today with the ES. All right, and that brings us to the NQ, which we were able to trade today. We didn't trade it a ton. I mean, we traded it more than anything else, I guess, but still not a ton compared to some days. We did only have 19 trades today, I think. Oh, crap. Wait, I just thought of something else. Something that I haven't done. And it's 12:54, so I have plenty of time to do it. Q back here. And we'll go in your community and live streams. And I believe I don't have one registered for today. Just go check on that. And I don't know what just happened. We're looking for that to get all the way back here. I don't need to click on that. Give me just a second. I'm sliding this back. Still sliding back. All right, hold it. I'm still doing it. I'm still getting it back there. If only. Now I was around to do this. All right, here we go. So our first trade on the NQ was right here. It was a beautiful trade. Sadly, we only got 4 ticks out of it. The next trade was right here, and we stopped out. That put us at minus 16. Then the next trade after that, hold on. Okay, I didn't think I had one ready to go. The next trade after that was right here, and we picked up 30 ticks on that to get us to plus 14. Right, and after that, we had a 7-tick trade right there to get us to plus 21. That's where we actually got the goal for the day on that one right there. Is where we got the goal for the day. And yeah, that's taking a really long time. Okay, and that's where we got the goal for the day on that one. The next trade we took was right here, and we went from, actually there's a trade in here that I didn't get because the next trade that I showed was a stop out. We went from 14 to 21. Actually, so, oh, okay, that's, yeah, the next trade I showed was a stop out. I don't know where the stop out was, but somewhere near there was a stop out. We went from 21 down to 1. And then the next trade that we took, we had a break even right there, another break even. Okay, so this is a stop out. We had a couple of break evens and then the stop out. And then on this one right here, we went from 1 to 31. So we picked up 30 ticks on that one. Then we had another break even on that blue arrow. And then let me shut that off and do this and this and this and that. Okay. And then as we move all the way over here, after we got to 31, we had one more trade right here. We got 16 ticks on that. That got us to 47. And then right at the very end, as I was filling out the spreadsheet, we had one more 30-tick trade right here, and that got us to 77 on the NQ. Now during the break, you can see there was some big action right here. It was a long trade right there, blue arrow, nice blue arrow along there, another one there, another one there, another one there. This one would have been a break even. So again, I'm going to say, if you only did the blue arrows, you would have done just fine today. And it is possible to just do the blue arrows. All you have to do is go in here to your TIQ context, go into style, and shut off the momentum arrows. Right, you shut those off, you're only going to have blue arrows, and then to just have that. All right, you still have these little arrows, so you still have that alert. If you want to have the alert that you know you have an arrow coming, you still have the little arrows with the alert on it to get you ready for the arrow that should be coming up after you get the alert, and then you can just get ready to take that blue arrow. Okay, just get ready to take that blue arrow, and that's it. Okay. And that was what our day was like this morning. So again, we made 410 per contract on the morning session, 77 on the NQ, 5 on crude, and we lost 2 on the ES. Took 27 minutes and 5 trades to get to $1,380, and we took a total of 19 trades. So I went through this morning and I went back to like the first month where we had 1 contract on with this number over here. Now this number is the same, but this number over here is so much bigger with 12 contracts on. It's a real thing. We're going to do the 24/20 blueprint. I kind of want to change that to a 20/20 blueprint because it's going to take 20 months for me to do it, but we'll do the 24/20. And that's what we're going to do. All right, so let me start the live stream now. Okay, it is time for the live stream, and let me kick that off. All right, so the live stream is going. So I was just saying this morning, we made 77 ticks on the NQ. We're break even on the Russell. We're +5 on crude and -2 on the ES. So we're plus $410 per contract on the morning session. You know, the session that we do in the live stream, so those of you guys that are watching in the live stream or watching after the fact in the live stream, the session that we do in the live stream in the morning part from 9:15 to 9:45 usually, that half an hour, it says in the text of that you know, over 80% of 2023 we've gotten our goal in the first half an hour. Adding that extra 15 minutes to the live stream didn't help that, but we still are getting our goal for the day in over 80% of the days. Even adding an extra 15 minutes onto it, we're still getting our goal for the day in the first half an hour, over 80% of the time. So here we are now, and we are just waiting for trades here. I'm going to say this right now because I don't have any trades, and whatever, anybody that's watching this in the recording after the fact right now, if you want to take free trial, if you want to have access to these indicators, the only way you're going to get access to the indicators is to go here to mytradingiq.com to sign up for the free trial right here. There's no credit card required. You just fill out this simple little sheet right here. Just fill it out. Give us your TradingView username, login ID, so we can enable the indicators for you. And that's all you have to do. Okay? That's all you are required to do to get the free trial and to get access to the indicators. If you don't do that, you won't have access. So I was also just saying, and I think I might have left the so it's only blue arrows here. Yes, I was showing in my recap that you can have just the blue arrows that show the highest probability trades. You can have just the blue arrows on your charts if you want to. And to do that, you would put your TIQ context on and shut off the momentum arrows, right? Your momentum arrows. Now, if you put those on, you can have green arrows and black arrows also. Okay, I just click both of those and wait for it to catch up. There it is. So now you have your green arrows and you have your black arrows as well. And I mean, they all work out too, but you can't just go in there and take every single green arrow and every single black arrow and every single blue arrow. The blue arrows are your highest probability trades. The black arrows, you want to make sure you're coming off a higher swing when you get a black arrow, because it's possible you could get a black arrow like without coming off a higher swing. All right, same thing with the green arrows. So you want to make sure you follow all the rules. And the blue arrows, the only time it's possible to get any kind of an arrow without coming off a higher swing. But if you just focus and you pay attention to the blue arrows, you'll be doing just fine. All right, so over here on crude oil right now, we're on a 7 range on crude, 7 range, 7 range, 15 range. I know I changed that when I did that meeting, so I'm coming back to it now. We pull back pretty deep here on the crude. I don't know that it's going to give us a trade on the up close, but if it does pull out of the oversold, then that's what we'd be looking for. All right. So as I said a few minutes ago, are you in here, fellow from Romania? Person from Romania? Say no. Okay. All right. Well. Anyway, the NQ is in a no trade zone here. That's what this blue background is. That is a no trade zone. You don't want to trade when it's in there. The ES is pulling back down to test the ribbon. It has just tested the ribbon. We are in the oversold. So when I click on this right, if it pulled it out of the oversold, it would give us a blue arrow. Right? If it pulled it out of the oversold there, it would give us a blue arrow right now. We are going right up into a weekly trading zone, so you need to be cognizant of that. We just got the green arrow over here on the crude that I should have been paying attention to, but I wasn't. And that should get us up to here. If we look at the DOM now on crude, how to read DOMs in Thursday's lesson plan, sorry. 73.9 is where this should go up to right now. Reading the DOM. The DOM says 73.9. I think that's what the DOM says it's going to go up to. Okay. Yeah, it may do it right now. It may not do it right now. But you did have your entry point all the way down here at 0.71. All right, the ES could still trigger a trade here, and if it pulled it out of the oversold, it would be a blue arrow. If it did not pull it out of the oversold, it would still be a trade. Mind you, it's going right into the weekly trading zone, but you do have enough room to get your stop to break even. But if it does not pull it out of the oversold, it will be a ribbon trade, okay? And what that is right here. It is a long trade without the slingshot, okay? A ribbon trade. We can do that. It is a long trade without the slingshot right there. Right. So if we get the up close on that, it's going to be 73.50 up to 75.50 is what you'd be buying on that. Okay. And if it happens, then we would anticipate that it's going to get up to the prior swing high at least. Okay, so it would be just like this. You put your buy stop limit on. One tick above where the bar is going to close. The bar is going to close right here at 75.25. So my buy stop limit is waiting right there. And my stop is 10 ticks away. All right, my target is actually 30 ticks away. Up here. So we don't typically get 30 tick trades on the ES on this time frame, but it is possible. All right, so the Russell did not finish its move up, but it's just about done with its pullback, I think. 63 is about as far back as it should pull. And did we get there? Yeah, we did get there. It's not really showing too much below 63, maybe 61, 60 right there, but I'm reading it down to you. Sorry, let me show it to you as I read it. Okay, all the weight is on the upside right now. So I know it's like in a deep pullback. It didn't give us any kind of a trade on the crude. Right, it gave us this one back here that you had enough room to get your stop to break even on, but no follow-up trade because it didn't continue the trend. So right now it's actually gone into a no trade zone. And if you look down here at the bottom, it's weighted to the upside. So it's probably going to bounce back up, is what I'm thinking. All right, the ES still is not giving us a trade. The NQ long-term direction is flat. The Russell long-term direction is flat. So now we wait. And we're still waiting here for this to go see up close. Right, 73.50 is the bottom. It's got all 7 ticks range in this bar. So it's either going to close down right there, or it's going to close up right there. The top and bottom are in. It's just a matter of whether it's going up or down close. Okay. So my buy stop limit is in exactly the right place right now. And none of the other markets are really giving us anything right now. If anybody has any questions, just type them in. If anybody wants to see any other symbols, just type in the symbol you want to see. Okay. We can look at something else in here. I don't know what, but here's Microsoft. What's that look like today? Big moves up on Microsoft, right? The ES now closed down, not up. So this number is going to change. Okay. 73.25. So we'd be buying BTC, straight up Bitcoin. Okay. BTC. Oops. Hang on. Bitcoin, we'll do it on the Coinbase. All right. And we can't do that on 50 range because that just moves around too much. But wow, it's already up in the 40,000s. Sweet. Okay, so for those of you guys, I can do it on 1,000 range. So the bar is $10. Okay, and let me just get rid of that. That was from the partners meeting the other night. Put this on. So, hang on, let's just make sure the CS trade is still in the right place. It is. Okay, and it's still going to be a ribbon trade, but I wanted to just take a look at this on your time frame. So every bar in here is $10 on the Bitcoin, right? And this is what it looked like today. Let me see what I have everything set. So I think I have a whole bunch of stuff shut off here. Yeah, I do. I have all the momentum arrows shut off. I have. This is such an old version. It doesn't even have the latest stuff. Let me put it all back on here. This is from, I was doing this in the partners meeting this week. So let me put all this stuff back on. And we'll take a look at Bitcoin once it's all back on. Okay, put all our arrows back on there. And I'm watching the S trade. We still don't have one going over there. Okay, and this still doesn't have all the right stuff. Okay, let me just get rid of that. Done. And we'll put on a fresh one that has everything turned on by default. All right, so this is what Bitcoin looked like today. And this is on a 1,000 range, so every bar is $10. Right, all these blue arrows in here, triggered in all the right places, green arrows. Everything works the same. Still, you're looking for the pullbacks down to the ribbon, coming out of the oversold. You're looking for the pullbacks up to the ribbon, coming out of the overbought. You're always going to be looking for the same thing, no matter what market it is. You might have to change the time frame due to the volatility. You know, this has got, you know, right now it's priced at 41,741. So, yeah, sure. So you might have to change your time frame due to the volatility, but this is what the daily looks like eventually. There it is. Let's go to the end on the daily. There it is on the daily. Yeah, we need to get up above this. So the daily, we've got the blue arrow way back here on November 21st. Since then, your stop would have been down here, and your target, you would have to look way left to get a target for here. Yep, 42,000 got rejected from there. Can't imagine there were a whole bunch of people that were wanting that as a target, right? Good stuff. It is looking that way. Okay, so the low, this is still at 73.25, so we're still looking for the up close. Same place on the ES. I mean, everything's going so slow right now. I don't think we're going to end up with anything here. But yeah, the Bitcoin looks, that is very, very bullish. we're selling off of this right now. So, you know, in the bigger picture, what I would expect is a pullback here, a pretty deep one too. Probably on to right about here where it found all that resistance before. That's about 50% retracement of the whole move. So I would sell it. Should probably sell off to 38.5 is what I would think over the next little bit here, a couple days, week or so. Probably 38.5, and then maybe another rally beyond that is what would probably be likely to happen for Bitcoin. Those of you guys that are interested in that sort of thing. What we do works on all markets, all time frames. Right? We had our blue arrow way back here, seeing it go along. This is our resistance. Once you broke through the resistance, it moved up. And now what I would do is this. I would say this is our move from here to here. Okay, so that's why I was saying that pullback would be about 38.5. I guess it's 38.9. Right in here is where it should pull back to in the next little bit. I don't know how many days it's going to be, but right about here. Now, we could have, you know, just irrational exuberance like we did before Bitcoin, but I think people have been beat up by the cryptos a lot. So it wouldn't surprise me if we have more of a technical type of reaction to it here. So the pullback would be about a 50% retracement of the look up that put us right about here, which used to be resistance, but now would act as support and give us another bounce up. And then if it gives us another bounce, and this is part of the leg length lesson that comes in on Wednesday. Now the leg length actually started way down here, but we'll just work with the latest part of it right here. And it's probably pretty close to the same. This is what we have so far. Okay. And so it's pretty close to the same right there from there up to here. Okay, the leg length, right? You got the spikes that went through it, but that's about the same. So then that was here. And then the next one would be, we'll just say right about here. So where does that end up? That ends up here, 46,000, almost on the nose. That's what I would expect. What do you think of that analysis? That covers. Yes. Yeah, I think I bailed out at 65, I think. And just tiniest bit left. But I thought I'd hold on to it in case it ever gets to 1 million. Yeah, like everybody was saying it was gonna. But it's so small. If it did get to 1 million, it would still be insignificant. Well, it doesn't mean I shouldn't buy some more though if it gets back down to 20,000. But when it pulls back down here, this is what I think it's going to do. This is just based on the analysis of what it's done in the last month. I'll pull back down to here and then another push up here. You know, the end of the year, there's usually the Christmas rally at the end of the year, and that's not just for stocks. Okay, so we're still looking at the same thing here on the ES. We're still waiting for that to give us the up close. These are so slow. It's not just for stocks, and it's not just for indexes. Cryptos too. So I am. I'm waiting on the ES. We have 0 trades so far in this session. Boy, the market really slowed down from the morning. But it is what it is. Yeah. So over here on the crude, we want that to pull back up and test the ribbon. We're just going sideways here on the Russell. And we're pulling back here on the NQ right now. We want that to get up here and test the ribbon. Let me spread it out a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, this was actually a trade right here off the ribbon, right? We didn't come out of the overbought, so we didn't get any kind of an arrow, but we did bounce off the ribbon with the black line in the red and long-term duration bearish, and we did have a lower swing. So this was actually a trade right here. All right, that was a ribbon trade short. Whereas this one over here right now on the ES would be a ribbon trade long. Right? If you look in here at the trade rules, I should just go in there and put over here ribbon trade. Long trade without the slingshot in here, I should say ribbon trade. And short trade without the slingshot, I should say ribbon trade. Because this one, it just has to bounce off the ribbon. All right, it has to bounce off the ribbon. And the black line must be in the right color. It's got to be in the right color and off the ribbon. Right? That's the difference. You don't need the slingshot at all. So the slingshot can be stuck in the overbought, stuck in the oversold, or not even be in the overbought, or not even be in the oversold. Right? And I think we have both of those scenarios. Right here, it's stuck in the oversold, the ES, and on this one right here, it never made it to the overbought on the NQ. Right? But you see what's happening right now on the NQ. The black line is in the red. We did hit the ribbon, so this would be a ribbon trade short right here. Okay, on a down close. Even if it doesn't pull it out of the oversold, I'm sorry, out of the overbought, it'd still be a short. So 51.25 down to 47.25 is what you'd be selling on that. Right, just like that. No, I don't really like it when these indices are going in opposite directions, but they have been a lot today, so we'll see what happens. If anything gives us a trade, if nothing gives us a trade, or they both give us a trade. The NQ looks like it's starting to get geared up for something here. Don't know why, but it does look like it's starting to. Does anybody have any symbols you want to see other than what we've looked at so far? Okay, the ES finally. We're thinking the 30-minute will hold the BBC, 30-minute BBC on the ES you're talking about. I'm pretty sure, Don, right? Will hold the BBC on the short side. I guess you're talking about that. Okay, so we triggered on both of these, and so far the NQ is working out and the ES is not. Okay, the NQ, I'm going to throw the stop at break even. The ES, we didn't get a chance to throw it to break even yet, and it's actually in the wrong place. It slipped one tick. All right, so we're going to lock in a little profit here on the NQ, and the ES looks like it's going to stop us out. Okay, so that one we waited all that time for. The ES did just stop us out. Now, if we get the whole thing here on the NQ, it will, there, that is 5 points right there. So that is this, I don't really see where this should go down to. All right, so it's just about a wash between the two. Just about a wash between the two, but this one worked out. That's why I was saying at the beginning, I don't like it when they go in opposite directions. I'd rather have them both go in the same directions and both win. But this one stopped out and that one gave us profit. So it was kind of a wash. Not exactly, but pretty close. $60 difference. All right, that's those two trades. Let's see. On the Bitcoin right now, it's gone up and it's gapped all the way up to here. Well, not gapped. It's spiked all the way up here. And given the leg length, that is just about right. Okay, going all the way back here to where it started. You know, that is just about right. And there to there. And now, you see what happened in this one right here? It spiked up to there, and then you're looking for 50% retracement on that too. So you'd have been looking for a retracement down to here. It never really did get that retracement. It went up here, and it gave the retracement based upon this high right here. Okay, but it was only about a 25%, 24%, something like that retracement down to the ribbon. Don was talking about the ES 30-minute. I'll go and look at that in a second, but that blue arrow there just nailed it, that NQ trade. Don, you're talking about the ribbon on the 30-minute ES holding for the short. And here it is, not just the ribbon, the weekly trading zone also, right there on the ES. Okay, this is the ES, right? Yeah, the ribbon holding for the short, and it should push us down to here. Now, you knew it was going back up to the ribbon when the black step line crossed into the BBC right there on the 30-minute, right? And so now, yes, right here at the balloon climbing. And this is bearish looking down here in the slingshot. So I would think a move down to the midpoint. By the time it gets to the midpoint, the balloon climbing is going to be right there at the midpoint. So you have 2 levels of support right there probably. If it breaks through, it'll go right down to the zone. But that's what you're looking at. The afternoon there on the ES. Okay. Bigger picture stuff. I guess I haven't gone through this all that much. PH3, and if you have any symbols you want to look at, we still have 6 minutes left in here to jump into any other symbol you want to look at. Any other market, it doesn't have to just be these. We can look at ETFs, we can look at individual stocks, anything you want to look at. I should probably say this. If you are in here on the live stream and you haven't taken the free, go here to mytradingiq.com, click this button right here. That's how you get access to the indicators. Click the button, you'll be brought to this registration page. This is what it looks like. There is no credit card required. Give us your TradingView username right here, login ID, whatever comes up in the corner when you hover over it. Like for me, when I hover over it, it's CFRN right there. All right, whatever comes up for you, if you give us that right in this section right here, we'll get to enable the indicators for you. All right, we'll do it as soon as we can. So you have your indicators enabled on your desktop. And then once you have that, if you want to have my chart set up just like this, all you need to do is go here to mytradingiq.com, click on trade rules. Well, if you do that, you'll be sent an email that's got some links in it on the bottom. But the link right here, this will give you a copy of this. If I save this right now, we'll have that circle in it too, right now. You click on this, it's going to open up another set of those. Probably log me out somewhere else, but it's going to open up another set of those. And it'll have finishes painting. QQQ. Okay. I will be happy to show that. Waiting for this to finish populating here. There it is. That's what I was waiting for. All right, so QQQ, that is fine. Red, I haven't seen in a while. I'm going to close this now, okay. I'm going to go back to the other one so I don't have too many things going at one time. All right, so QQQ. QQQ. This one. Look at that on. Yeah, I don't remember giving. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't remember giving access to that ID. But what kind of time frame? Well, to sign up for the trial, PH3, all you have to do is tradingiq.com, the home page of mytradingiq.com, and click on this. All right, it'll bring you to this page. No credit card or anything required. Just do that. Fill out that stuff. It's pretty easy. Time frame. This is the daily. Okay. But if we go back into, like my little world, where every bar for a $300 thing, every bar will do to see if it's long. Okay, hold on. Let's let it keep. Okay. All right, I got to change that. inputs. It's not going to be 0.35. Let's try 0.01. Let's see. It is not looking long yet. Even having any error. It's not looking long yet. And this is on a 50 range. 50 range might be a little aggressive. Might go to it might be a little big. Might go to a 25 range, so every bar is a quarter instead. Every bar is 25 cents. And it's got a chance of showing a little bit of bullish activity here once it loads all the way up. No, it's still not bullish yet. All right, it started to retrace here from the big gap down. It's got this huge gap here, but it doesn't necessarily fill gaps the way the futures do. But it does have a huge gap here to fill at some point. It's not bullish yet. It's still looking like it could go down some more, right? Right here just went up to that level. That's pretty bearish, actually. Okay. Once it gets down below this, for trades, I would use this level down here for a target once you start to short trades. Okay. That's my thought on that D. All right, guys, it's 1:29. It's almost 1:30. I gotta wrap it up. All right. Well, I kind of want to go back to Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin does. I mean, I know it's on a daily chart, but I'm going to leave all those things on there. I'm going to save this and leave all those things on there. I want to show you guys again one more time. If you take the free trial and you get access to the indicators, again, TradingIQ.com. Click on the button. Be sent to this registration page. There's no credit card. Just fill out that little bit of stuff. These are all drop downs. Multiple choice. All right. And down here, give us your TradingView username, like P8. You would need PH3 and whatever the rest of your ID is. Put that in there so we can enable it for you. Okay. And then you get access to the indicator set. You get an email that has links to multiple different levels of things. Yeah, Bitcoin is on a bull run right now. It is, but it should pull back. It's done a nice big move already, and barring it should pull 1,030 and a half is what I'm thinking. Okay, and then it should have another run by the end of the year. Phoenix. I see. Okay. I see. Hey, that's where Dwayne lives. Somewhere over there. World to me. It's been a very long time. Anyway, but either way, I haven't been on that side of the Mississippi in a very long time. But my analysis of the Bitcoin is still the same. When I did it on a daily chart, you'll be able to see the stuff that I drew on a daily chart. We're in a bullish run right now, but I think that run is eventually going to slow down and pull back to it's got to pull back. Slow and steady. All right. Well, that is it, guys. With that, I'm going to finish Arizona because I have another meeting coming up. I will, if anybody has any questions, I've shown you all how to get into the get a trial. You can email us at support@cfrn.net or support@mytradingiq.com. Either one of those emails will get to us. If you don't know how to take the trial, just go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on that. It's not hard. Look, no credit required. It says it right there. All right, that is it. With that, I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I'm ready. Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 25 minutes and 5 trades to get to $1,380. I'm sorry, that was wrong. 27 minutes and 5 trades to get $1,380.
That's a great way to start the week.
It is indeed.
Indeed it is. All right, guys, let's finish up where we left off. Take long. Russell. Remember when I gave you the numbers from around the world? The only major index in the green was the Russell. So we opened last night. We pulled back to the VBC. We know the pullback holds more often than not. Price gets above red and falling, turning it to blue and climbing. Now you got the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, VBC. So this candle opened 1865 and ran up 12 points to the target. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. That's a 12-point move at $50 a point. So then we had a retracement back to the weekly zone. See, on this pullback to the VVC, we spiked down to the zone 1858/59 and then made the run and came back to the zone. Made the run again all the way to the target. Then pulled back to the BBC and made a run to the target again. We overshot the target. Now price is trapped between resistance at the step line and support at the BBC. The price can get above that black step line. There's a pretty good probability that we could trade, I don't know, 82 to 84. Should go for the day. If this pullback here, if this support doesn't hold and it doesn't hold here, then you got a big window of opportunity here. Keep in mind, these are last week's zones, okay? Because all alerts put out on Sunday night are based on the previous week's zones. But all our members got the new zones this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And those are the zones you'll see on my chart tomorrow. We never had any thought of trading to the short target because we never overcame this obstacle or this obstacle. Okay. And all of our members had those targets 10 minutes into the open. Okay. So here's now I drew in this window of opportunity back on Friday on the NQ and ran it all the way to the top, back to the bottom, we ran it twice, up, down, back up. So there's 2 ups, down. So we had three times we filled that window. So in the NQ isn't bad. 16020, 16033. So 13 points at $20 a point multiple times. So then we opened last night. We dropped to the BBC and we get below it. We got red and falling overhead right off the bat. That took us right down to the short target. First time we hit it right here, we bounced up to the BBC, which we expect to be resistance. When approached from below, sent us back down to the target. Then we got below the target, got down to the zone. Well, almost. The zone was 15,941/42. The low was 43.5. Okay, so we almost touched it. And from this zone, when the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. Come back down to the zone, bounce up to the BVC, and then red and falling takes us all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Good Lord. It took us below last week's lowest weekly trading zone. Sure did. Now, we attempted to pull back to the BVC here, and we couldn't quite get there. That's a heads up. There's weakness in the market. So keep that in mind. Crude oil, we are on the GCLF24 contract now. So we opened last night, right here, this candle. Now, we got potential resistance overhead at the BVC, support below, red and falling because it's directly below price. So what happens? We tried to pull up to the BVC, couldn't quite get there. It's a sign of weakness, so you should be prepared for lower prices. And as we come through this zone, and we drop to the target, we drop to the zone, then we trade below the zone, pull back up to the zone, just back and forth and back and forth. Lots of consolidation. Back up to this zone, back down through this zone. Where at one point this zone was support, then it becomes resistance. See how it was support and became resistance again here. Okay, that's just how markets work. And we'll teach you all of that should you decide to take the trial or become a member. On Friday, drew in this window of opportunity during the afternoon broadcast, and it filled beautifully. Okay, gold. Here's where we opened last night and made that mighty run. Goodness gracious. Now, this isn't 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, we went from 2094 to 2149. Is that 50 points? Yeah, give or take. And then the next candle took us a little further up to 2152. And now, had you told me last night this was going to happen, I'd have said, I don't think so. But, hey, no matter what you think, just remember the market doesn't care. Trade what's in front of you, the way you've been taught to trade it. And if you haven't been taught how to trade something, or if you haven't been taught how to trade, then go find somebody who will teach you how to trade. We trade every market the same, whether it's futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETF, everything. Price flows the same across all markets and time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. Never-ending cycle. It's one of the things that makes the weekly trading zone so cool is before the week even starts, before Wall Street opens for the week, markets actually open Sunday night, but Wall Street wakes up Monday morning, okay, and to know in advance where the market is most likely to find support, resistance is, well, as you learn, they'll become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. As a lifetime member, you'll have lifetime access. So just remember all of the markets that I was just showing you, okay? where market finds support, market's finding resistance, all, support, all of that. These are the zones that were published not this morning, but a week ago, last Monday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Our traders now have a whole new set of zones to work with this week. So gold did its deal, and now it's trying to get down to last week's highest weekly trading zone, but it may not because the step line has crossed, red and falling. And typically that will lead price to pull back to the BBC, whether it's pulling up or pulling down. Depends upon where price is when it crosses. So we're below it, so now we anticipate a pull up to it. Let's see if we get it. Silver. Last night, like gold, didn't move all in one candle or two candles like gold did. Took it a little longer, but it rallied. Hit the target. It only takes 2 pennies in silver to reach your goal for the day. Now, on the session, $25.80. $26.30. That's 50 cents. It's $2,500 per contract traded. Now we've got this huge move here. This is really the big move. We dropped. That's $26.33. At $25.33. That's $5,000 per contract traded. $5,000 plus per contract traded. And where are we finding support right now? On a zone that was published a week ago today. Last but not least, the euro. Here's where we opened. We attempted higher and failed. Got below the zone. Got real close to the target. Ran back up to the zone. Resistance. That resistance sent us back below the BBC. Had a leg. Retracement. And a leg that took us to the target. Through the target. Pull back. Pulls. Back to the target. Pull back to the BBC. Back to the target. Pull back to the BBC. Back to the target. And then we get down here where this zone was 1.08040/045. The low was 095. So we got close to it. Not real close. It went from zone almost to the zone. Now, if we don't do the pull back to the BBC, and even if we do, we could still actually touch this zone by the end of the session. Because the step line has crossed, price isn't looking like it really wants to pull up. But based on history, it probably will. Shane, I don't know if you're listening, but that Royal Rife that you just posted about, I have a friend in Ecuador. He has passed. He had a Royal Rife machine. I sat with it, played with it. It was very fascinating. I was going to post about that this morning, and I thought, don't sound like a wacko, because it seems like these people are onto some pretty good science. So anyway, thanks for posting. I'm talking about a link that one of our members just posted in our Breeze channel in Telegram. So we have a lot of different channels in Telegram. some private, some public. The Breeze channel is our own personal community kind of social media channel where we talk about things other than trading. So, while you're on the trial, check it out. If you're already a member, make sure check it out. Okay. So back to the daily chart. We're back below the step line. Okay, so now the black step line is resistance. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say if we're below it or. Yeah, we're below it. So as long as we're below it, then it's resistance. If we get above it, it's support. I already know this up here is resistance. And I was right. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing because of that powerful move up we had on Friday. So we really need a close below this line and a drop to the VVC. Because if we drop to the VVC, we should get a really nice bounce to the upside. If we keep consolidating and the VVC has to rise to meet price, price is probably going to trade right through it. But you got the 24% fib, got this trend line, the 38 fib, 50%, 62, and you got this bullish cross here. Whenever you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support, at least the first time down. Okay, to become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, and no nonsense, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI. You can reach us anytime via email, support@cfrn.net. Now, I'm going to repeat what I just said. The passport is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future. Okay? Now, the price of the passport hasn't changed in quite a while. And I have hinted about the fact that next year we may see some changes with that. However, if you're already a passport holder, you don't have to worry about anything because you're locked and loaded for life. You're grandfathered into eternity. So please, don't go, oh man, they told me it was lifetime. It is for you. But I can't say the same for somebody that, joins in January of next year. Because we're having some boardroom type meetings and making some decisions and plotting some paths for the future. But for everyone who is a current passport holder, you rest easy. You're good. No recurring fees. No nonsense. Ever. You should sleep. That should make you sleep like a baby. Now, our lifetime members have access to the live training room 2 hours and 15 minutes every trading day. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they simply have no one to teach them how to do the job. Not only do we trade live and train live 2 hours and 15 minutes every day, but our passport holders get unlimited one-on-one private mentoring, strategy they learn, the indicators they own for life as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flow is the same. across all markets and all time frames. Dashboard holders also receive the Logic 247 alerts round the clock, concierge trade alerts every evening when they're posted shortly after the Globex Open. Get to attend the Thursday night members only workshop, and you have the keys to the channel where it's chock full of previous workshops. So there's so many resources available to you as a member. Remember, we've been at this a long time, so we've accumulated a lot of stuff. You'll never make your way through all of it, but we'll point you to the stuff that's important. And remember, the world tries to make the markets complicated so they can keep selling you more stuff. Once you become a passport holder, we got nothing else to say. So we just tell you the truth about everything, okay? Because we want you to become self-sufficient as quickly as you possibly can. Different people learn at different speeds. The more time you put in, the more questions you ask, the sooner you'll be able to read the chart like a newspaper or a good mystery novel. Know with a high degree of probability what's going to happen when you turn the page. True story. All right, let's go to our good word for the day. Back on Friday, we began my daily faith confession, part 1. Let's go to part 2. Psalm 68:19. Blessed be the Lord, who daily loads us with benefits. When you speak words of faith over your life based on the scriptures, Jesus taught that you will have whatever you say, if you do not doubt. See Mark 11 about that. Okay, I'm sure many of you know that in the scripture it talks about you only need faith the size of a mustard seed, which is one of the tiniest seeds in the seed industrial complex, okay? And grows one of the biggest trees, the mustard seed. But why would he use, well, you only need as much faith as a mustard seed. Because that's the tiniest seed. And that, you see, means the absence of doubt. If you have doubt, then you don't have the faith of a mustard seed. So you got to get on your knees and work it out with God. All believers struggle with faith from time to time. Whether you're a young Christian, you've been a Christian for many years, there are going to be times you struggle with your faith, with your belief. Okay? Doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're not a good Christian. It means you're human. So get to that doubt and remove it. Hang on for me 1 second. My phone's going crazy. Okay, sorry about that. David refers to God's blessings as benefits and says that God daily loads us with benefits. Note the word loads. We're not talking here about the capacity of a teacup, but more like a dump truck. God is waiting, willing, and wanting to do these things for you. That's why the psalmist writes, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from destruction, who crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord executes righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in mercy. He has not dealt with us according to our sins, nor punished us according to our iniquities. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so great is his mercy towards those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. As a father pities his children, so the Lord pities those who fear him. For he knows our frame, he remembers that we are dust. But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting on those who fear him, and his righteousness to children's children. Understand this: you activate the power of God's word when you confess it over your life, not when you scream some negative confession over your life. That's real easy to do. But catch it. Catch it before the words come out of your mouth. And if they've already escaped your mouth, then pray. Rebuke that thought that came from the enemy. And it's as if it never happened. Christianity is not a spectator sport. That's our good word for the day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this: there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.